3 words. That's all it takes to end a Friday night. Production is down. Somewhere right now, a team is scrambling. Users are angry. Revenue is bleeding. Engineers are pulling logs and rolling back commits. And one quiet question is forming in the back of everyone's mind, a question nobody says out loud. Why didn't QA catch this? That question matters. Because the answer is almost always the same: either there was no QA process, or it wasn't taken seriously, or the team thought they didn't have time. QA engineers exist so that question never has to be asked. Welcome to QA Career Lab. I'm going to show you what this role actually is, why it matters more than most people realize, and how to build a career in it. Most developers think QA is just clicking buttons. Finding typos. A checkbox you tick before the ship date so the project manager stops asking questions. They're wrong. And I've seen the cost of that belief: teams where QA engineers weren't invited to planning meetings, where bug reports got dismissed as edge cases, where quality was treated as a finishing touch instead of a foundation. That culture is expensive. It creates rework. It creates incidents. It creates the 3-word message. QA engineering. Real QA engineering is one of the most strategically important roles in all of software development. It's not about finding bugs after the fact. It's about asking the hard questions before a single line of code is written. What happens when a user does the unexpected? What happens when the network drops? What happens when the data is wrong? Those questions save companies. And the people who ask them are QA engineers. There are 4 fundamental responsibilities every QA engineer owns. Master these and you have the foundation of an entire career. Pillar 1: Requirements Analysis. Before a single test is written, ask, what is this feature supposed to do? Not what it does. What it is supposed to do. You read specs, interrogate them, and find the gaps: edge cases nobody anticipated, behavior nobody documented. The most important thing I'll tell you in this series: most bugs are not born in code. They are born in misunderstood requirements. Pillar 2: Test Planning. Once you know what should happen, you decide how to verify it. Which scenarios, in what order, with what data? A test plan is your strategy blueprint. Pillar 3: Test Execution. You run the tests, observe behavior, and compare actual results against expected results. Precision is everything. A vague bug report is useless. A precise one is steps to reproduce, expected behavior, actual behavior, environment, gets bugs fixed fast. Pillar 4: Defect Management. Finding a bug is not the end. You log it, track it, verify the fix, and regression test around it. You become the hub of quality communication on the entire team. Everything in QA connects back to one of these 4 pillars. What do you need to be hireable as a QA engineer? Think of your skills as a pyramid. The bottom is your foundation. As you move up, it narrows into specializations that separate junior from senior. Level 1: Foundation Skills. Attention to detail. QA engineers are professionally paranoid. They catch a form field accepting 2,000 characters when the database only holds 255. Software fundamentals. You don't need to code yet, but you need to understand what a frontend is, what an API does, what a database is. Enough to have an intelligent conversation about what might be failing. And communication, the most underrated QA skill. You translate between technical and non-technical worlds. Your bug reports drive developer action. Level 2: Core QA Skills. Test case design. Every happy path, edge case, and failure mode. Black box testing. The system as a user, with no knowledge of internal code. Exploratory testing. Detective style, curiosity driven, unscripted. And basic SQL. Even in non-technical roles, database queries come up constantly. This skill alone makes you dangerous. Level 3, Advancement Skills. Test automation with Selenium, Cypress, or Playwright, the single biggest salary multiplier in QA. API testing with Postman. And CI/CD integration, your automated tests wired into the deployment pipeline, enforcing quality on every single build. Here's what separates good QA engineers from great ones. It's not tool knowledge. It's not certification count. It's mindset. Great QA engineers are adversarial by nature. They don't want the software to work. They want to prove it doesn't, because finding the failure in a controlled environment is infinitely cheaper than finding it in production. IBM's Systems Sciences Institute published research on the cost of software defects across the development lifecycle. A bug found during requirements costs roughly $1 to fix. The same bug found in production? Up to $1,000. That's a 1,000-to-1 ratio. QA engineers are the people who catch it early, and that is not a supporting role, that is mission critical. The mindset also means being comfortable holding the line when quality is at risk. The pressure to ship is real. Deadlines are real. But the QA engineer who says, "This isn't ready, here is the evidence, here is what we risk if we ship anyway," that engineer is invaluable. You are not a gatekeeper. You're a guardian. A gatekeeper blocks things. A guardian protects what matters: the users, the company's reputation, and the team's ability to ship with confidence. That's episode 1 of QA Career Lab. We covered what QA engineering actually is, not the checkbox version, but the real, strategic version. The 4 pillars: requirements analysis, test planning, test execution, and defect management. The skill pyramid from attention to detail all the way up to automation and CI/CD. And the mindset: adversarial, curious, courageous, that defines the best engineers in this field. In the next video, we're getting tactical. We'll take a real bug report, one that gets ignored and one that gets fixed in under an hour, and break down exactly what makes the difference. After that, test cases versus test scenarios, your first automation script, API testing in Postman, the interview question that eliminates most candidates, and the full career roadmap from junior QA all the way to director of engineering. Every video is a lesson. Concrete examples. Real tools. No fluff. If you're serious about a career in QA, subscribe. Drop a comment below with your biggest question about getting into this field. I read every single one. QA Career Lab. Because the best engineers aren't the ones who ship the fastest. They're the ones who make sure it works.